Trump breaks his silence, the secret flight that raised new questions about Iran. Breaking news out of Washington. President Donald Trump is speaking publicly about a highly unusual security incident involving his travel from Turkey, and his explanation is raising even more questions about the level of threat facing the American president. According to reports, Trump was secretly moved from one aircraft to another after security officials warned that the original flight could face a greater risk. And now, Trump is confirming that the unusual transfer really happened. But here's the part that has captured Washington's attention. Trump says the aircraft he ultimately boarded may actually have been the one at greater risk. So what exactly happened? Why was the president moved? And what does this reveal about the growing security concerns surrounding the United States and Iran? Let's break it down. Section 1. What happened in Turkey? The incident reportedly took place during Trump's departure from Turkey last month. According to reporting from ABC News and The Washington Post, Trump was transferred away from his original aircraft following concerns about a possible Iranian threat. The operation was reportedly carried out in an extremely discreet way. Trump was moved between aircraft using a catering truck, helping security personnel keep the president's movement out of public view. For an ordinary passenger, changing planes is routine. For the President of the United States, it is anything but routine. Presidential travel involves layers of security, advance teams, military coordination, and Secret Service protection. So when officials decide that the president's travel plan needs to change at the last moment, the decision can reflect a serious security concern. Trump has now confirmed that he did switch aircraft. And he says the decision came from the people responsible for protecting him. Section 2. Trump's response. Speaking to reporters, Trump gave a striking explanation. He said that security officials believed the aircraft he had originally planned to use could face a greater risk. But after switching planes, Trump said the aircraft he ultimately boarded may have been the more likely target. That statement immediately raised a major question. If officials were concerned about a possible threat, how much information did they actually have? Trump did not publicly provide operational details. And that is understandable. Information about presidential security movements is normally highly sensitive. But the president's confirmation is significant because it establishes that the unusual flight change was not simply a rumor. Something happened. Security officials made a decision. And Trump followed their instructions. Section 3. Why Iran is part of the story. The incident comes against the backdrop of extremely tense relations between Washington and Tehran. The United States and Iran remain locked in a dangerous confrontation surrounding the conflict in the Middle East and the strategic Strait of Hormuz. Recent reports indicate that Washington has continued military pressure while diplomatic messages have also been passed through intermediaries. Trump has publicly suggested that negotiations with Iran could still be possible. But at the same time, his administration has continued preparing for the possibility of further escalation. That creates a complicated situation. On one side, there are attempts to find a diplomatic path. On the other, military forces remain involved and threats continue to dominate the headlines. And that is why Trump's latest comments about presidential security are attracting so much attention. Because if American officials believe that the president himself could become a target, the consequences go far beyond one flight. Section 4. The bigger security question. The most important question may not be which plane Trump used. The bigger question is how presidential security is adapting to a rapidly changing threat environment. Modern presidential protection is built around uncertainty. Threat information can change quickly. Travel schedules can be modified. Routes can be changed. Aircraft can be switched. And decisions may be made without the public ever knowing why. In Trump's case, the secrecy surrounding the transfer appears to have been intentional. The goal was to reduce predictability. And predictability is one of the biggest concerns for anyone protecting a high-profile political leader. The fact that Trump is now discussing the incident publicly suggests that officials believe they can talk about the event without revealing the operational details that actually matter. But the episode still provides a rare glimpse into the security challenges surrounding presidential travel during an international crisis. Section 5. What this means for U.S.-Iran tensions. The timing is especially important. The United States is already dealing with a volatile Middle East situation. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most strategically important waterways. Any prolonged disruption can affect global shipping, energy markets, and the American economy. At the same time, Washington and Tehran continue sending mixed signals. There are warnings. There are military actions. There are diplomatic messages. And there are reports of possible negotiations. President Trump has made clear that he wants Iran to understand that the United States is prepared to apply serious pressure. But he has also indicated that diplomacy remains an option. That combination of pressure and negotiation has become one of the defining features of the current crisis. And the secret flight incident adds another layer to an already tense situation. Section 6. What we still don't know. There are still important questions that remain unanswered. What specific information triggered the aircraft change? How serious was the threat? Was the threat directed specifically at Trump? How much did U.S. intelligence know before the decision was made? And did the incident lead to any broader changes in presidential security procedures? At this point, the public does not have answers to all of those questions. And some details may never become public. That's because presidential security depends heavily on keeping certain information classified. What we do know is that Trump's travel plans changed, security officials were involved, and the president himself has now confirmed the unusual transfer. So tonight, the story is bigger than a secret flight. It is about the extraordinary security environment surrounding the American president at a time when tensions with Iran remain extremely high. Trump says he trusted the Secret Service and military officials who advised him to change aircraft. And while the details remain limited, the incident demonstrates just how seriously presidential security officials are treating potential threats. For Americans watching this story, the biggest takeaway is simple. The United States is operating in an unusually tense international environment. Diplomacy is still being discussed. Military pressure continues. And behind the scenes, presidential security teams are making decisions that most Americans will never see. The Trump administration now faces a difficult challenge, maintaining pressure on Iran while trying to prevent an even larger escalation. And with the Middle East situation continuing to evolve, every new statement from Washington could become significant. We'll continue watching this story as more verified information emerges. For now, one thing is clear. The secret flight was real. The security concern was serious enough to change the president's travel plans. And Trump's decision to speak about it has opened a new window into the extraordinary security challenges facing the White House. Stay tuned for the latest developments. This is Developing News.